accept things as they come and be in the present. So, which is, I feel, quite ironical to the title of the interview, What Happens Next? So it is best, I feel, to not think about what is happening next. Because if you just give the present whatever it needs, if you give the now what it needs, the future will just fall in place. That's what I think.
Creative people will always come up with something new, and some good idea which is efficient can take you really far. So I'm saying people work on ideas, do skill building. These are the things that you need to do. There's no point in just sitting down and lamenting, say, oh God, what is going to happen? I mean, do what you can do right now. Wherever you are, your mind is with you. So use it.
I think we need to understand as artists and as creators that we live in a society where there is stigma attached to creativity, and especially in the global south. And I have seen that also in the West. And when we say there is stigma attached to creativity, which also means that there is then barriers to resources and how we want to then engage with that creativity. So unless we as creators, as makers, as storytellers go out there and tell the world that this is needed and we create value for it, and storytelling is a huge piece of creating value for why why artists are required, why craft is required, why just sitting home and doodling is required.
ஆக்சுவலாக நாங்கள் லாஸ்ட்டாக பர்ஃபார்ம் பண்ண ஷோ வந்து ஃபெப்ரவரி எண்டில் இருந்தது. ஒரு மார்ச் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வீக்கில் தான் நாங்கள் கடைசியாக பர்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணது. அதுக்கப்புறம் ஆல்மோஸ்ட் எங்களுக்கு ஒரு 3 months வரைக்கும் புக் ஆகிருந்தது. எல்லாமே இப்போ கேன்சல் ஆகிடுச்சு. அண்ட் ஒரு இன்டர்நேஷ்னல் ட்ரிப்பும் ஒன்று இருந்தது, அதுவும் கேன்சல் ஆகிடுச்சு. ஸோ மே மாதம் இந்த மந்த் 27, 28 ஒரு ஷோ நாங்கள் அப்ளை பண்ணி, ஒரு காம்படிஷன் இது அப்ளை பண்ணி போகலாம் அப்படின்னு ஒரு பிளானில் இருந்தோம். அதுவும் வந்து இப்போ கேன்சல் ஆகிடுச்சு. அது சவுத் கொரியாவில் இருந்தது. ஸோ எங்கேயுமே போக முடியல. அண்ட் என்னோட டீம் மெம்பர்ஸ் எல்லாருமே இப்போ வந்து தேவ் ஆல் கான் பேக் டு தேர் ஹோம் டவுன்ஸ். நாங்கள் ஒரு 10 பேர் கொண்ட குழு, ஃபோக் டேல்ஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது என்னுடைய டீமோட பேர். ஸோ நாங்கள் என்னாச்சுன்னா இப்போது ஒன்ஸ் மே 15th அப்புறம் மே 16th அப்புறம் காலேஜ் ஸ்கூல்ஸ் எல்லாமே க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. ஸோ ஒருத்தராக அப்படியே ஸ்லோலி ஸ்டார்டட் மூவிங் டுவர்ட்ஸ் தேர் ஹோம் டவுன். ஸோ இப்போ எல்லாருமே அங்கே போய் செட்டில் ஆகிட்டாங்க. இன்னும் வெளியில் வர போகிறாங்கன்னு தெரில. நானும் அவங்கள பார்த்து ரொம்ப நாள் ஆச்சு. கஷ்டமாக இருக்குது. என்ன பண்ணுறது, இப்போது எல்லாருமே தே ஆர் கோயிங் த்ரூ அ லாட். ஸோ நம்மளும் வந்து அதுக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணணும். அப்படிங்கும்போது வீட்டில் இருக்கிறதுல தப்பு இல்லையே, வீட்டில் தானே இருக்க சொல்கிறாங்க.
I've spoken about this many times, and some of my artist friends are already looking at that. But perhaps advise them that if I'm sharing my story as recording, how should I record it? What are the best sort of digital standards in which to record it? Where could my interviews perhaps be kept in a way that it is accessible? What is my form of dance that I follow? What is the costume that I wear? You know, what inspired me? How have I evolved? All of these questions are just general information that later could be of great use.
To stay creative, you need to make sure that you're healthy, or else things can change into a very different thing. And the second thing that you can do is push yourself, ask someone to push you. That is the least thing that you can ever do. But people who are actually alone, they need to take care of themselves.
It's much harder there to keep functioning, especially if you're at home and you've got your family commitments or you've got your family around you. How do you keep working and keep creating? Anyways, artists will always create, but how do you live and earn your rupees to survive in these current conditions? And that's much harder. So when we see really good work going on with the Kerala government, I think in Tamil Nadu as well, in other areas, I think what we want to just is for the British Council is just amplify that work.
I reached out to my guru back in Mumbai, and I remember very well writing a mail to her, that I am a male, Catholic, Christian guy. Can I learn Odissi? Is there any scope for me to learn Odissi? And she was like, it doesn't care who you are. It doesn't matter what you do. What matters is you love dance and you should dance. And that changed a lot of things, how I look at life today. This is the Pride Month, and over the period of time, yes, I decided to speak about my identity because as an individual, we have different phases of our life. We have different identities: one at work, one at home, one with dance, one with what we do. There are different layers, and at the end of the day, we are all just one identity. That's me.
So from always the producer has been the back end process of it. So in the end, all that he would need is his coffees to be shipped out. So there has always been a particular population that has been consuming this coffee. At least for the last 2 months, we've seen that the population percentage has come down, either due to lockdown or people not wanting to go out, which means the purchase quantity from the producer has also come down.
Right.
So this purchase quantity or this purchase profits for the producer would impact the next year's crop. So in this part of it works this way. The other part of it, where people have invested in cafes with great ambience, with a full-blown setup, where they would want the customer to experience all of it, that part of it has also come down, where people cannot go have a sit out, where can have a conversation over coffee, can have and that has come down. But one part that has not come down is people drinking coffee. For a person who drinks coffee, they'll try to either, now there are, every single brand is online. Most of it is what comes to your doorstep. And people could do with simpler equipments to brew the coffee. They might not get the same experience. For example, a trained barista brewing a cappuccino takes him years to perfect the process, where we could do something similar at home, but that experience is still from a cafe.
So I think streaming is definitely going to go up. A means by which artists will now be able to make money is royalties. Before it was mostly shows. That's how we all made money. But now it's going to be through royalties. I think sync licensing it's already really popular. But I think that's an element which a lot of artists are going to try to move towards, because sync licensing has a lot of money. If you can figure out a publishing deal, and if you can get your songs on these web series and things like that, then you can really make a good living out of that. So I think more stress is going to be on sync licensing as the industry moves forward.
It's really challenging because the amount of money in the DJing industry over the years has gone down, because there are a lot of players now in the DJing scene. A lot of people have gone reducing the minimum amount that we ask or charge for the party or other things.
Are we going to start thinking about how we engage with our audiences differently, how we collaborate differently? And that, to me, has been really exciting. It shows, I think, that there are always top-down models that are largely funding related, but then there are these really strong peer-to-peer sharing networks where the leadership really shines through, and people share ideas, they innovate together, they create solutions. And I think our responsibility at council is actually to hear what and then create the support to then back that.
Cut down the commute time, put in more work time, because that is something that will monetize, that is actually beneficial to you. There's no point spending 3 hours, shunting and just exhausting yourself and not being able to do efficient work, right? If 3 hours is going to come down to 1 hour, you'll be able to put in those 2 hours, and it will actually be beneficial to both, the business and to them.
If you look at all the series happening in a single venue, all the artists are going to be performing on the exact same stage. So all of us, all the artists will know the stage well enough. They know the dimensions of the stage. They're going to know how much space they have to move around, and they can work with that. But with the whole lockdown situation and each of us being stuck inside our homes, obviously we can't all use a single person's home space. Each of us have our own space at home, and I think it's a challenge for our artists to kind of figure out. And it's not only physical space, the physical space that's available to us inside the walls of our homes, but I think it's also the space of the screen. How much space does what's the framing? How much space does our camera, our phone's camera, or our device cameras allow us to utilize? So even if we have a lot of physical space, our camera may allow only so much of it. So it's interesting to kind of work around that, figure out how exactly to do that.
All these processes give you a flexibility of printing on a different. If I'll say cyanotype is where the end result is blue, cyan. That's what we call cyanotype, and
Right.
it's also a historical printing process. It's all लोग ऐसे भी कहते हैं कि पहली बाइबल फोटोग्राफ के साथ cyanotype में प्रिंट हुई थी.
Oh, ये
Right,
बहुत
it's
इंटरेस्टिंग
that
बात है. हाँ.
it's that old, yeah. So with this historical processes, what one does is one creates a paper or a surface into a light sensitive surface. You apply chemical on any surface, mostly a paper, convert that into a light sensitive, place that along with a negative, expose it under the sun, and you get your end result. This is a cyanotype.
Wow. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
now I know what you mean.
Issues, I think right now the issues we are facing is because of our supply chains have been stopped. So we don't have a specific kind of paper we need for a particular book. We don't have that, or we don't have inks. So we are waiting on that. So what's happened to our work process, especially in our print workshop, is that certain books have been finished halfway, and then we ran out of paper. So now we have to pause the production of that book and begin something else, and then wait for services to be back. So at the moment, these are some of the challenges we're facing. This was the idea of a French artist who was visiting us. Her name is Joelle Jolivet, and she's a line cut artist. She was very fascinated by the Besant Nagar beach, and she came up with the idea of depicting depicting Eliot's beach from morning to night. All of us sat together, and then we realized that the morning to night of the beach is actually it's a cyclical pattern, right? So morning becomes afternoon, which becomes evening, and then so we thought, why not, how do you, that concept of the cyclical concept, how do you adapt it into a book form? So we worked together, and this became a never-ending book. This space is too less for me to open it up. But the book opens up like this.
அதுல இருந்து நம்ம உள்ளுக்குள்ள தைரியமா இந்த கொரோனா நம்ம நெருங்காது, அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி நம்ம டாக்டர் சொல்ற மாதிரி, காவல்துறை சொல்ற மாதிரி, துப்புரவாளர்கள் அவங்க எல்லாருமே சொல்றாங்க நம்ம வீட்டுக்குள்ளேயே இருந்தா எல்லாருக்கும் சேஃப்.
சரி சரி சரி. இப்போ உங்க டீம் 38 பீப்புள் இருக்காங்க சொல்றீங்க இல்லையா? இப்போ 38 பேரு குழு கொண்டு நீங்க வந்து இப்போ ஆன்லைன் ஷோஸ் ஏதாவது பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்களா? ஆன்லைன்ல இப்போ லைவ் போயிட்டு இருக்கீங்க இல்லையா? ஏதாவது லைவ் பண்றீங்களா நீங்க?
பண்றேன். நானா சண்டே 4 மணிக்கு நாங்க வந்துட்டு பிளாக் பாய்ஸ் டீம்ல இருந்து ஒரு half an hour நாங்க வந்துட்டு பண்ணுவோம், அவேர்னஸ்க்காக பண்ணுவோம்.
ஓகே. சோ இதை நான் கேள்விப்பட்டிருந்தேன். இது எப்படி இருக்கு உங்களுக்கு, இந்த அவேர்னஸ் ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் எப்படி இருக்கு? இதால ஏதாவது ஃபண்ட் ரைஸ் ஆகுதா உங்களுக்கு?
ஃபண்ட் இல்லைங்க பிரதர், ஏன்னா வந்துட்டு இப்ப எல்லாருமே வீட்டுக்குள்ளேயே இருக்காங்க. ஸோ எங்களால முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு ஒரு சின்ன என்டர்டைன்மெண்ட் நான் உங்களுக்கு பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன் பிரதர்.
ஓ சரி.
But the one thing I want to tell artists is to share content that is you, that is very much you, that is consistent, useful and relevant. So the moment you start sharing content that people can relate to on a very consistent basis, you don't have to post every day. You can choose to post once a week, once in whatever 5 days, whatever. But when you share content consistently that's useful and relevant, and that is sort of an embodiment of you, and not just something that's done for the heck of it, not just something that's done because everyone else is doing it and you have to sort of fit into the space, I think you will have a good time, and the people consuming your content will also have a good time.